So, with a relationship with a narcissist, in the end, it's never going to turn out good. Okay? There's people that have been with narcissists for even decades, and they're still the same. And a lot of the victims, they see a lot of their behaviors that remain consistent, which are the patterns of like their disorder. But also, too, it's just like because of the lack of love, you know. It's devastating for the victim because it's like they didn't feel it, so they crave that love. They fight for it so much, so they stay in these relationships too, because besides the trauma bond, it's just the love that they crave. Depending on the victim's past, whether they actually dealt with parents that were actually narcissist or not, or a caregiver. It depends. There was something that was missing, that the victim is sticking long enough for them to endure this pain, and with victims, the trauma bond is really strong at this point if they been with this narcissist for a while already, because at this point they already sacrificed themselves, their worth, their well-being, just to try to get something out of it. And so going back, because there was something missing, something in their childhood, probably something that they didn't get, before, growing up from the caregiver or whoever that was. And so you see, when it comes to a trauma bond, it is meant to lower your boundaries. It is meant for you to rely on the narcissist and their validation, because a lot of people rely, or victims, put it this way, a lot of victims rely on the narcissist's validation, approval, basically, and then with the narcissist, all they care about is getting their needs met. And so think about that. They're not thinking about your feelings. It's if it means lowering your boundaries and pushing you around and for you to come back, and every time they're wrong, they'll keep you around. But that's a trauma bond, and that's what it's meant to do as well. It's to keep you around. And with a narcissist, they need enablers, and I hate to say it, but the victim sometimes are the narcissist's enablers. They have their flying monkeys, just don't get me wrong, but the victim also protects the narcissist because they see him as a partner, someone that they love. And I get it though, but also too, a lot of victims know that the narcissist is in the wrong, and what happens a lot is that they won't say that they're in the wrong because they don't want to trigger them. They don't want to trigger the narcissist. They don't want to upset them. And so at the same time, that's kind of enabling bad behaviors, like a toddler, because narcissists are toddlers, to be honest, and in adult bodies. And so another thing that happens a lot with the trauma bonds is that a lot of the times people who stick around in these narcissistic relationships, a lot of times codependence. And like I said, it goes back to their childhood, especially if you're codependent. There was some form of neglect or abuse, or or both, and a combination of other things too, that were negative in that upbringing of the victim. And like I always say to my clients, no contact is the most important and the most effective way of breaking that trauma bond. When you're actually putting in that extra work to stay away from them and to focus on yourself, I know it's easier said than done, to focus on yourself when you're actually grieving. It feels like you're grieving a death because that person is not who they said they were. And so I've always said that. And so it is grieving. It's like grieving a death. But the sooner you accept it, the sooner that you're ready and the faster you're going to heal. Everyone has different emotional capacities. Everyone has different way how they handle pain, and it's up to you. Take your time. All right? Don't force yourself to do something that you're not ready to do. And I have to be fair because not everyone's ready to move on as quick, as they want to. It really does take time, and a lot of people have to be empathetic with that and sympathetic and all that, with the person grieving this kind of loss. And so it's possible. Just take your time. When you're ready, find the right support group, and it'll make all the difference in the world, and you'll just keep on moving, and you'll build out momentum, and things get better really sooner than you really think.